I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get to the No Half Step in hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show and what you're good and educated about the show. That's when you can click on that merchandise tab, take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect the Renegades Puck are all still available in our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. Makes no difference to the Renegades of Puck. Something like 88 different items in our online store. So better said, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so here's how you can support the Renegades of Puck. Please check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Check us out on Threads or X. You can also find us on TikTok, several other places. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred social media platform today. Doesn't take you about a second, doesn't cost you a thing, but it sure goes a long way to helping out the Renegades of Puck. YouTube, stick, taps, love, and respect to all of our recent subscribers. Thank you so much. It means a lot. We are trying to build up our numbers on YouTube because we would really like our YouTube channel to be a much bigger and better thing than it currently is. But we sure do appreciate each and every one of you who are following along, catching the latest episodes of Renegades of Puck TV and all of our segments of recaps and previews and interviews and all the other things you'll find on our YouTube channel. Just search Renegades of Puck, give us a subscription, and if you can, turn on that notification button today to find out when the latest videos are premiering. You can also find the podcast through the Full Press NHL Network. The Full Press Predators podcast went from local to global in 2023, and in 2024, the momentum is continuing. Thank you so much. It's so awesome to get reports like Q4 was amazing. Keep on rocking. Love to hear things like that from our management company, and that's because of all of you great listeners out there. We are approaching all time for the podcast history 10 million views, downloads, and replays across all of our different spectrums and formats. So we are so appreciative. That is a massive milestone that not many podcasts are able to accomplish in their history. You can find us on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, several other different audio platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform today, and the Full Press NHL Network will help you find the show. Venmo is how you can help support the show financially, and we sure could use a little bit of support. We went from 1-degree temperatures to 61 degrees and tornadoes in less than 7 days here. We are looking to upgrade some things around the studio that are involving the weather, the up and down in temperatures, the humidities. It's taking an effect and a toll on the equipment, and that's exactly why we need to make and replace or build or do whatever it is that the experts say for our studio as far as an HVAC system goes here in the future. So every dollar goes a long way and goes directly to helping that project once we're able to get to it. It's not just the cold of the winter, it's also the heat of the summer. We live in a dramatically different temperature area from season to season, so it can take its toll on the equipment, and I'm learning this on my own as we go. So again, stick, taps, love, respect to everybody who's been able to scan that QR code and make a donation to the Renegades of Puck today. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half Step in hockey coverage, and I cannot wait to deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 863. That's right, time for show number 863. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division after 49 games skated. They have a record of 26-22-1. 53 points has the Nashville Predators, 12 points shy of a third place and automatic qualifying spot for the playoffs, 14 points shy of first place, and only 1 point ahead of the St. Louis Blues. I will update the entirety of the division here momentarily. Let me finish updating the Nashville Predators first. On the road, the Preds have a record of 13-10-1 on the season. They've scored 148 goals. They've given up 152. That is a goal differential of -4. We'll get into the next matchup, which is against the Ottawa Senators. It's the first of two regular season meetings between the Preds and the Senators, so no backstory to talk about between these two teams, just two games on the schedule to go. And once the Nashville Predators wrap up this last game of the three-game road trip, which takes place in Ottawa, they'll be back home to face off against the LA Kings on Wednesday. That is very important. You'll know why here in just a couple seconds. And then time for the All-Star break. Not back on the rink until the 10th of February when the Predators will host the Arizona Coyotes. On the 13th of February when they will host the New Jersey Devils. On the 15th of February when they host the Dallas Stars. Next road game for the Preds after this Ottawa game is on the 17th of February at St. Louis. But remember, there is a week off at the beginning of February as well. So it's not as if the Preds are just at home nonstop for the next 2.5 weeks. They are going to be taking a week break. Now, the Central Division standings, and this is of critical importance to update this because the three-team weave continues to, three-team weave at the top of the division. The Colorado Avalanche have now bounced back into first place after 49 games skated. They have a record of 32, 14-3. 67 points has them 1 point clear of the second place Dallas Stars, and they are 2 points clear of the third place Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets, first time they've been out of first place in quite some time. Sorry, the numbers started moving around the page on me. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but the Colorado Avalanche have a 2-point lead over the third place Winnipeg Jets, and you will find the fourth place Nashville Predators 14 points back of first place in the division. And this in the middle of the division now is where things get really interesting and very important for the Nashville Predators because they will be facing off against LA and Arizona and St. Louis, all coming up in the next stretch of 5 games. So, the Preds at 53 points in fourth place. The St. Louis Blues are in fifth place at 52 points. The Arizona Coyotes are in sixth place with 49 points. And the Minnesota Wild at 47 points are in seventh place. So from fourth to seventh, separated by just 6 points, which would be 3 games. Now, the Chicago Blackhawks are the only team that is out of contention in the Central Division at this point in time. They've skated in 50 games. They only have 14 wins. They only have 30 points on the season. So they're largely irrelevant in this conversation. But the 1 through 3 team weave at the top, and then the 4 through 7 bunching up in the Central Division is all going to play a critical, important role going down the final 30-plus games of the season. Now, why I mentioned the LA Kings game as being so important to the Nashville Predators and the St. Louis game as well, it's not just that the Blues are only 1 point behind the Preds in the Central Division, but the Blues are 1 point behind the Predators for a wild card spot in the wild card race right now, which we are going to continue updating each and every episode now. LA holds the wild card 1 spot with 53 points, and the Nashville Predators hold the wild card 2 spot with 53 points. St. Louis is at 52 just on the outside looking in, and then Seattle is 3 points back of Nashville with 50 points. I do still think that the Central Division could get 5 teams in the playoffs this season, but the Pacific Division has been surging as of late with the Oilers obviously winning 16 and the Seattle Kraken now coming back and playing some strong hockey, and the Central Division has taken just a brief step backwards. Now, I talked about the Central Division, updated the standings right there, the season series between the Preds and the Ottawa Senators, the upcoming Preds schedule. How about we talk about those Ottawa Senators since we haven't seen them yet this season? Highly unusual, but not the only matchup from the East that the Preds have this year where they haven't seen the team yet for the first time, and it's right at the All-Star break. The Ottawa Senators are having a tough season. They're 18-25-2 overall. 38 points is 8th in the Atlantic Division, which is in last place, but on home ice, respectable. 12-12-2. They have scored 151 goals. They have given up 165 on the season. That is a goal differential of -14. Bit of an up and down situation in their most recent stretch of hockey in their last 5, and they sure took a beating in their most recent game. Let's go back and talk about the 20th of January when it was a 2-1 overtime loss versus the Winnipeg Jets, picking up a point, though, against Winnipeg. Impressive. That's not easy to do. 121, it was a 5-3 win at Philadelphia. On the 23rd of January, a 4-1 win at Montreal. And on the 25th of January, it was a 3-2 overtime loss versus Boston. So, again, picking up a point against a really good team in the Boston Bruins. And most recently, on the 27th, it was a 7-2 loss versus the New York Rangers. Just an absolute beating. Korpisalo went 13-17, took the loss, did not play the entirety of the game. Let's talk about the matchup between the Preds and the Ottawa Senators, first of 2 this regular season, and neither of these teams are putting up the best statistical metrics on the season. So let's talk about goals for. The Preds have now dipped below 3 at 2.98. They maintained that above 3 goals for throughout most of the season now, so their offense is really struggling as of late. 19th overall in the NHL. Goals for on the Ottawa side of things, 3.33 is 11th overall in the NHL. Now you say they score 3.33 goals per game. They're 11th in the league in scoring. Why are they have such a bad record? Well, it's because of the goals against. 3.67 goals against for Ottawa is 30th overall in the National Hockey League. The Preds giving up 3.10. That narrow margin of error is starting to get a little bit separated now. 0.12 separation between goals for and goals against. For the Preds, the goals against 3.10 is 17th overall in the NHL. In the shots for category, the Preds 30.7 is 17th. The Ottawa Senators generating 32.8 shots on goal per game, which is 8th. The shots against for the Predators are 30th. That's 14th in the league. Shots against for Ottawa, 30.6 is 20th in the NHL. When it comes to special teams, the Predators are leading in both of these categories and metrics. Power play, 19.4% conversion rate is 20th in the NHL for the Predators. 33 conversions out of 170 opportunities. The Ottawa Senators are converting at 16.3%. That's 23rd overall in the league. 27 of 166 is the raw data. The penalty kill for the Nashville Predators, killing off 76%, is 27th overall in the NHL. They've given up 38 power play goals against. That rates them 26th overall out of 32 teams in the NHL in power play goals against with 38. The Ottawa Senators, 73.7% kill rate, is 28th in the league. They've given up 39 power play goals against, one more than the Nashville Predators. When it comes to the individual team statistics, let's start with the visiting Nashville Predators. Philip Forsberg continues to pace the team as he has most of the season, 23 goals, 27 assists, 50 total points on the season. Ryan O'Reilly's at 17 goals and 25 assists for 42 points. The captain, Roman Josi, is at 10 and 32 for 42. Gus Nyquist is at 12 goals, 25 assists for 37 points. And Colton Sissons bumps up 1 at 13, adds 12 assists to that for 25 points on the year. Over on the Ottawa Senators, the home team side of individual statistics, it's Stussel with 10 goals, 35 assists for 45 points, pacing the Sens. Giroux, 14 goals, 27 assists for 41 points. Claude Giroux has had a good history against the Nashville Predators. Kachuk, 20 goals and 18 assists for 38 points. Batherson, 16 and 21 for 37. And, of course, Vladimir Tarasenko has a lot of familiarity with the Nashville Predators from all of his years in St. Louis. 13 goals, 19 assists for 32 points on the season. Having an okay year with the Ottawa Senators, but the Ottawa Senators, again, they're not having that great of a year overall. Expected or anticipated goaltending matchup: Jonas Korpisalo for the Ottawa Senators has a record of 10-16-2 and 886 save percentage, 3.52 goals against average. UC Saros will get the start since Kevin Lankinen got the start on the second game of the road trip in Edmonton. Saros' numbers are 19-18-1, 904 save percentage, 2.91 goals against average with 2 shutouts on the season. Nashville Predators versus Ottawa Senators, first of 2 regular season meetings. This one takes place in Ottawa. It'll close out a 3-game road trip. It'll get the Preds 1 game closer to the All-Star break. Next time they'll meet up will be just about a month later on the 27th of February right here in Nashville, Tennessee at Bridgestone Arena. That's got you all set for the next game. We got to go back now and talk about the previous game. It was the Nashville Predators in Edmonton to take on the Oilers. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to January 27th of the year 2024 when the Nashville Predators were in Edmonton to face off against the Oilers for the third and final time this regular season. Head coach Andrew Burnett deployed his lines of defensive combinations in the following way. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist has become the customary first line for quite some time now. Trennan, Sissons, and Gurianov, Novak, Glass, Evangelista, Smith, McCarron, and Sherwood as the jumble continues. Lines 2, 3, and 4. Josi and Fabro, McDonough and Shen, Luzon and Carrier are defensive pairings, and Lankinen gets the start in net. Lankinen, of course, had the victory in Edmonton in the Nashville Predators' previous stop there. 3:16 into the first period. It's Skinner coming up with a save on Forsberg, plus his follow-up at the post. It's the first and second shot on goal of the game. 3:32 into the first period. It's Skinner coming up with a save on Gurianov at 3:58. Mark Lankinen comes up with a save on CC at 4:17 of the first period. It's Lankinen coming up with a shoulder save on McDavid off of the rush. He stood tall and held his ground and able to keep McDavid off of the board at least this time. 5:10 of the first period. It's Lankinen coming up with a save on Perry. Yes, that Perry. 6:38 of the first period. We found our first special teams action of the game as Luzon was off the box. 2 minutes for holding. This penalty took place in the neutral zone, and it's something you simply cannot have happen. Cole Smith would get a shorthanded opportunity off the rush, but he would hit the post, ringing the iron for the first time in this game. Lankinen would come up with a save on Draisaitl, but then Nugent Hopkins would cash in for the Edmonton Oilers with his 12th goal of the season, breaking through and giving the Oilers a 1-0 lead. It was a wrist shot from the slot, Nugent Hopkins worked his way into a perfect spot and just a lethal snipe of an offensive opportunity right here on the power play, and you just cannot take penalties against this Oilers team, but everybody knew that before the puck even dropped in this one. 8:16 in the first period, Skinner coming up with a save on Philip Forsberg off of O'Reilly's good feed. 10:27 in the first line, coming up with a save on Holloway at the 10:54 mark of the first period. It's Hyman off the box, 2 minutes for interference. He just crashed right through Lankinen, going right through the blue paint. Did not attempt to slow it off, so he gets 2 minutes for goalie interference. Skinner would come up with a save on Luke Evangelista from the slot, but that would be the Nashville Predators' only good scoring opportunity of this first power play of the game, so the Predators unable to respond in the special teams scenario. 13:01 of the first period, Hyman misses the net out of the box. A great opportunity right here for the Oilers, and the Predators have certainly been victimized on that play a number of times this season. 14:19 the first period, Skinner comes up with a save on Yossi. 15:28, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on McLeod, plus the follow-up at 16:25 of the first period. It's Lankinen coming with a save on Nurse, and at the 16:42 mark, we find Forsberg picking up a penalty. 2 minutes for high sticking. Lankinen would come up with a save on McDavid, and the Nashville Predators penalty kill would do a pretty remarkable job right here, keeping the Edmonton Oilers from getting any other shots on goal over the course of this power play. Nothing else after we return to 5-on-5 hockey, so we hit the intermission with the Oilers out shooting the Predators 9-7 and leading 1-0 after 20 minutes on the clean sheet. We go to 1:22 into the second, and we find Connor McDavid hitting the post off of the rush at 3:31 of the second period. We find Philip Forsberg. He just misses sliding the puck inside the post. He had Skinner beaten, but he could not finish the playoff at 4:07 of the second period. It's Skinner coming up with a save on Dante Fabro at the 5:01 mark of the second period. It's Draisaitl off to the box for a minor penalty, and O'Reilly is going to ring iron for the Nashville Predators, hitting the post yet again. Skinner is going to come up with a save on Forsberg, and then Skinner is going to come up with another save on glass from close range. Predators unable to convert on the power play yet again. At 7:09 of the second period, it's Skinner coming up with a save on Glass's jam attempt, and just before the 10-minute mark of the period, the Nashville Predators are out shooting the Oilers 7-0. We cross over the midway point of the period, and at 10:25, we find Lankinen coming up with a save on McDavid off of the rush. The captain, Roman Yossi's harassment was just enough and deemed to be legal. There was a slash, there was a hack, there was a whack, there was a hook, there was a hold, there was a pull, all of those things, but Roman Josi was able to avoid picking up a penalty on this one, and McDavid was unable to get off the quality of shot that he would have preferred. But at 11:12 of the second period, it's Luzon who's going to pick up another penalty in this game. He's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping, and the Oilers are going to convert yet again. It is Leon Draisaitl, I believe now number one Pred killer of all time, his 23rd goal of the season, not just against the Predators this season, but it does feel that way. His 23rd goal of the season gives the Oilers a 2-0 lead, and this was just a perfect give and go between some of the most high-skilled players in the NHL. McDavid sets the play up from the slot area, sends it over to the right circle for the one-time finish. So Draisaitl, McDavid go give and go on the power play for the excellence of execution, giving the Oilers a 2-0 lead. At 12:20 of the second period, it's Nurse coming up with a penalty for hooking 2 minutes off to the box. Skinner would come up with a save on Philip Forsberg on this power play, but again, that would be it for the Nashville Predators on this power play. They'd only be able to generate one total shot on net at the 15:20 mark of the second period. It's Lankinen coming up with a save on Corey Perry at 16:50 of the second period. It's Skinner coming up with a save on McDonough from the left circle. This play was just maddening as the Nashville Predators worked to get this scoring opportunity, and they finally get the shot from McDonough, and McDonough kind of fanned on it, didn't get a whole lot on it, so the Predators don't get the great scoring opportunity that they really earned at the end of that long shift. At 18:07 of the second period, we're already on the back of the sheet here. Lankinen comes up with a save on Janmark after just maybe the most horrific turnover you're going to witness by the Nashville Predators. Hopefully not anything worse than that this season, but Lankinen does bail out the team right here on this situation. Lankinen was involved in the turnover himself. At the end of the second period, the Nashville Predators now out shooting the Edmonton Oilers 17-15, but the Preds have fallen down by 2 goals. 28 seconds into the third period, it's Skinner coming up with a save on Philip Forsberg, who was just buzzing all over the rink in this game. At the 3:16 mark of the third period, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on McLeod. At the 4:17 mark of the third period, it's Skinner coming up with a save on Philip Forsberg yet again. Here we are just a minute 13 seconds later at 5:30 of the third, and it's Skinner back to work again, coming up with another save, this time on Michael McCarron. At 6:04, Skinner now stops Glass. So the Nashville Predators are generating tons of zone time and good offensive opportunities and good close-range shots. Skinner is just responding in every way. At 7:13 of the third period, it's Skinner coming up with a save on Shen. And the Predators just dominating. But then at 9:11, McDavid finds himself with the bank shot off the back of Lankinen. He was taking the puck behind the net and decided to just deposit it off the back of Lankinen's leg and directly over the goal line and into the net. That's his 20th goal of the season. McDavid struggled to find his way to get on the score sheet in this one. You know, he hit a post. Lankinen shut him down, so he just decided to bank one in right here. The Oilers have a 3-0 lead. The Predators really were buzzing up until this moment in the third period. 9:41 of the third period now. It is Glass hitting the post, ringing the iron yet again in this game. So the iron actually has been hit, I think, 3 times by this point by the Preds. 11:42 of the third, it's Skinner coming with a save on Philip Forsberg yet again. 13:25 of the third period, it's Colton Sissons breaking through for the Nashville Predators, getting his 13th goal of the season. This was all hard work and pinball action. The Nashville Predators, Cole Smith, Luke Evangelista, and Colton Sissons were able to maintain the puck possession, keep it in the zone, and keep taking the puck away from the Oilers in their own defensive zone. They just were causing complete mayhem, and that's maybe the best word to describe the entirety of this play, but just complete mayhem leads to the puck ultimately going off of Sissons in the low slot area and into the net. That's going to do it for the shutout for Skinner. Sissons' 13th goal of the season makes the game 3-1 now in favor of Edmonton. At 13:48 of the third period, Lankinen comes up with a save on Hyman at 14:18. Skinner has to come up with a save on Cole Smith, and this would have made things so much more interesting. Cole Smith had a really good look at it right here with the extra attacker on. The Predators are going to give up the empty net goal at 16:41. Hyman does some good hard work, actually, to earn this empty netter. You don't typically have to say that, but he did a good job right here. Finishes off for his 30th goal of the season. An empty net goal gives the Oilers a 4-1 lead in this game. The Nashville Predators would have a couple of more opportunities, but would not register any more shots on goal with the extra attacker over the final couple of minutes of this game. And that is going to wrap things up. The Edmonton Oilers come away with their 16th consecutive victory of the season. They're now heading towards the NHL record fairly quickly. The Oilers win this game 4-1. The Nashville Predators do outshoot the Oilers 30-21. The Oilers did everything they've done across this 16-game win streak in this game, except they got out shot, and they didn't put up many shots on goal, but it was, again, the power play that absolutely killed the Nashville Predators. They were unable to score on the power play, and the Edmonton Oilers power play was dominant in this game, scoring 2 goals. At 5-on-5 hockey, this was a 1-1 game. Add 2 power play goals for the Oilers, add an empty net goal, 4-1 spread, and the Oilers continue just moving on, and like I said, heading potentially towards the NHL record for consecutive wins. For the Nashville Predators, 1-1 on the road trip. They've got an opportunity in their next game to close out the 3-game road trip with a victory and go 2 out of 3, but they go 1-2 against the Oilers on the season. They only pick up 2 out of a possible 6 points, and that could come back to hurt them in the playoff race later on in the season. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap, full analysis, box score, and so much more coming up next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness, and that's me and my training assistant Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. That was the full game recap. Now let's talk about the full game analysis. We always like to start in net with the starting netminder, Kevin Lankinen, 17 out of 20 in this game. 3 goals against. 2 of those came on the power play. And you know what? Lankinen played a reasonable game, and I totally agree with the coaching staff's start to start Lankinen in this game. He picked up the victory in Edmonton the previous time the Predators were there, and in relief at Bridgestone Arena in the first meeting of the season, Lankinen played a pretty decent game. So I thought that was the right call, and I was very happy to see Lankinen get the start in net. 17 out of 20, again, a reasonable performance. It's incredibly difficult when your team takes bad penalties in front of you and puts you in a tough situation to go out there and outplay the high skill and high level of the special teams precision and right now excellence of execution of the Edmonton Oilers all by yourself. So Lankinen, I thought, was reasonable in this game. I was happy to see him get the start and happy to see him compete. Made a couple of big saves early in the game, kept the Preds in it for a little while. Then the game just kind of fell apart due to the special teams scenario. Don't worry, it's not the last time you're going to hear about that. Colton Sissons picks up the only goal of the game for the Nashville Predators. Also had 3 shots on goal and 3 blocked shots. And you know what? The hard work on display and against a team that's incredibly high-skilled and fast and explosive and every other incredible word you can think of is what the Edmonton Oilers are right now during their 16-game winning streak. Colton Sissons shows that the hard work out there on display can not only beat the Edmonton Oilers, but it can pay off. And the Colton Sissons grouping was out there working incredibly hard. And they got the only goal of the game, and it was hard work and pinball action, puts the puck into the net. No, none of it was with flair. None of it was with finesse. None of it had style or incredibly high skill. It was simply outworking Edmonton until the puck finally found its way into the net somehow. Colton Sissons gets his 13th goal of the season. I was happy to see Colton Sissons getting on the scoreboard for the hard work. Now, of course, we're going to also talk about Smith, who picks up an assist on that one. And you know what? Also, want to mention the 2-year extension. We didn't get a chance to mention on the last episode. It was breaking as last episode was recording. So Cole Smith with the 2-year extension, which is incredibly affordable for this Nashville Predators team. And I just made the note, he's better than this fan base gives him credit for. You look at what he's done this season. Look, last year was a different story. Last year was incredibly slow to start. There was not a lot of production. This year, Cole Smith has done everything Andrew Burnett has asked him to do, and his production for the area of the lineup that he's in is not that bad. Cole Smith gets a bad rap from so many of this fan base. He's a better player than this fan base gives him credit for. He picks up an assist, and he was a part of that incredibly hard-working effort that Colton Sissons was able to get his goal on. And that line, that grouping, looked the best out of anyone on the rink all night. Philip Forsberg had 9 shots on goal, and I know everyone on the broadcast and a lot of people that I've seen talking about this game since, we're talking about Philip Forsberg and his amazing 9 shots on goal. Well, I'm going to tell you something. 9 shots on goal doesn't mean that much to me if not a single one of them finds its way into the back of the net. When the premier players for the other team are the ones dominating the game, the premier players for your team have to step up and answer, and 9 shots on goal. And now Philip Forsberg, as of late, yes, he had a tip-in, he broke his drought the other night. He has 23 goals on the season, but as of late, 5 shots on goal, 4 shots on goal, 6 shots on goal, 9 shots on goal, and not converting with any type of regularity. 11.8% shooting percentage on the season is not good enough for Philip Forsberg. It's the 4th lowest of his career, and in the last 3 seasons, he's gone from a 42-goal season and 18.6% shooting percentage to 12.1% to 11.8%. He's dropped 7% off of his shooting percentage in just the last 2 years. It is declining, and unfortunately, it is coming at just the worst time for this Nashville Predators team. Listen, the All-Star break and February, they're just right around the corner, so I hope that things are going to turn around. This is not an indicator that Philip Forsberg is, in fact, not the dominant offensive player that he has been for the last few years of his career. 11.8% shooting percentage, 9 shots on goal without registering a single point, 2 more missed shots, so 11 shot attempts. That's not good enough from your top scorer and your best player on the rink. 11.8% shooting percentage, down from 18.6 just 2 years ago. And this is the one. The absolute one thing everybody knew going into this game was that in special teams, you had to come out even with this one if you hope for any chance to win this game in Edmonton against the Oilers the way they've been playing as of late. The Nashville Predators power play, 0 for 3. The penalty kill, 1 for 3. That doesn't seem like evening it up to me. You give the Oilers power play opportunities, the Oilers are going to cash in on those opportunities. When you cannot respond and you cannot answer, and the Oilers were giving giving a couple of gifts right there. They gave the Preds a couple of power play chances, and the Preds could not do anything with it. The Preds gave some absolute gifts. The Luzon penalty in the neutral zone just cannot happen in that game. That's not a good, hard penalty in the defensive zone. The penalty on Forsberg for the high stick, I think that could have been prevented. Luzon's second penalty, the trip, I think all three of those penalties were prevented. I don't think any of them did anything to help the play. Nothing prevented a goal. Nothing was a big hit that just went a little too far. It was just bad penalty taking in a game where you knew you couldn't be shorthanded because the excellence of execution known as the Edmonton Oilers were going to pick you apart, and that's exactly what they did. They looked like the Globetrotters out there against the Predators on the power play, converting 2 out of 3 times while the Preds could not convert a single time, and it was the one thing you could not do going into this game was get yourself in a special teams battle against this Oilers team. As hot as they are, as confident as they are, as much swag as they have right now, even their third-tier players look more explosive than most of the league right now. The Edmonton Oilers are just on another level, and the Preds gave them an easy opportunity to win that game. Don't worry, I'm going to get worked up again after the break. We're going to hear from our good friends at Stripe Digital Solutions, and we'll come on back. We'll get the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score. There's nothing to get mad about in the box score. They're just numbers. But then after that, I have a few more things I want to react to. Then we'll close this show out right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business. And that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions.
Welcome back in. The good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. Colton Sisson scores the only goal of the game for the Nashville Predators. The Predators now down to 2.98 goals per game on the season's first time in a while. They've been below 3. It is suffering. The offense has certainly dried up again. As far as assists go, Luke Evangelista, I'm very happy to see Luke on the board again. He has been playing somewhat timid in the offensive zone lately, and that's not something I expected from Luke Evangelista, who broke into the league by putting Evgeny Malkin up off of his skates and promptly onto the ice. Luke Evangelista playing timid as of late surprises me. Glad to see him back on the board. Cole Smith, hardworking, picks up an assist as well. When it comes to shots, I've already talked about Philip Forsberg's 9 shots on goal and my dissatisfaction with those 0 for 9 when it comes to his shots on goal. Glass had 4, Sissons had 3. When it comes to the block shots portion of things, we had a trio with 3. Sissons had 3 block shots. McDonough had 3 block shots. Luke Shen also had 3 block shots in this game. The physical component of things, Jeremy Lauzon, had 6 hits in this game, but unfortunately took 2 penalties, and those penalties were killers in this game. Yakov Trenin had 4 hits. Cole Smith also had 4 hits. Sherwood had 3 hits in this game. When it comes to time on ice leaders, it was Philip Forsberg at 21:57 in total time on ice, leading all of the forwards. Ryan O'Reilly at 20:42, and Nyquist had 20:03, 0 points amongst the top trio of the Nashville Predators in this game. When it comes to time on ice leaders for the defense, it was, of course, the Captain Romagnosi leading all Nashville Predators in time on ice, 27:55. Then McDonough at 20:52 and Carrier at 20:03. All other defensemen under 20 minutes in this game. When it comes to the special teams, I mentioned the power play for the Predators, 0-4-3 in this game. So Philip Forsberg, 3:41 in total time on ice. O'Reilly, 3:22, and Glass, 3:04 total time on ice on the power play. Ineffective in every way. 4:21 for the Captain Romagnosi, also not getting the job done. Unfortunately for the penalty killers, a tough circumstance, a tough situation, but you got to find a way to overcome those odds and get the job done. They give up 2 power play goals against. The time on ice leaders were on the defensive side of things, McDonough 2:53 and Fabro, no, that's Carrier, 2:40. And then on the forward side of things, Sissons at 2:23 and Cole Smith at 1:56. Again, giving up 2 power play goals against the Edmonton Oilers is it's a very difficult circumstance, but it was almost inevitable the way the Nashville Predators were starting to take those bad penalties in that game. Now let's see what else falls out of the box score after we talk about Lankinen. 17 out of 20, gave up 3 goals in this game, 2 on the power play, made 1 power play save, made 16 even strength saves, an in-game save percentage of .850. Not great, but I thought Lankinen overall played a decent game. What else in the box score? The power play 0 for 3. I've mentioned it at least 6 times now. The penalty kill 1 for 3. The faceoff winning percentage 57.7%, 28 hits. It was 13 block shots, 9 takeaways, 4 giveaways. It just goes to show you that right there, without the special teams situation, the Predators were reasonably in this game. Without the Predators' top performers, top offensive threats, getting anything done, the Predators were right there in this game against the best team right now, currently the most red-hot team, 16 straight wins, going for the NHL record here in a couple of days. That is a game that the Nashville Predators were in. The numbers show it. The face-off winning percentage at 57.7%. The number of hits, nice. Block shots, good. Takeaways, well over on the giveaways. And at 5-on-5, this was a 1-1 hockey game with your backup goaltender playing a pretty decent road game. You get involved in the special teams, which you simply cannot match against the Edmonton Oilers, and you knew that. That's where the 2 goals plus the empty netter, so 2 power play goals and empty netter, and the score was 4-1 in a game that was respectfully 1-1 and should have been 1-1 if the Predators could have remained at 5-on-5, and who knows what could have happened. The only scenario that the Nashville Predators had zero chance of competing for a point was getting into a special teams battle and trying to match the skill on special teams of the Edmonton Oilers. They were never going to be able to do that. They simply aren't in that class. The Oilers are a better team. Straight up 5-on-5, good, hard-working, blue-collar hockey. Preds had a chance in that one, and it was 1-1, and they gave this one away. They lose the season series to the Edmonton Oilers 2-1. They did go 1-1 on the road in Edmonton. And listen, there is every possibility that these two teams could meet for the first time ever in a best-of-7 if the Preds are still in the wild card situation towards the end of the season, and the Edmonton Oilers are in an automatic qualifying spot. The Preds could cross over to the Pacific Division and find themselves in Edmonton again this year. They have to take a lesson from this. They have to learn from this. We all knew the Oilers were going to be a great hockey team this year, and many anticipated, expected, and projected them to be in the Stanley Cup final, ridiculed, laughed at, and mocked for the first month of the season, and now they're going for the record for consecutive NHL wins, and they've just beaten the Predators for their 16th consecutive win. They're an impressive group with some of the best players in the entire league, and now they've got their goaltending and their coaching solidified, and now they're going on their run, and they're in an automatic qualifying playoff spot 16 games later, and they are winning in a very professional way. They're winning all of their games 4-2, 4-1, 3-1. It's impressive what they're doing right now, and the Preds had every opportunity to be the streak breakers if they could have just played some 5-on-5 hockey. As of that second right there, all the frustration with that goes away. You know why? Because you're 1-on-1 on a road trip that has one more game on it, and if you go to Ottawa and you beat the Sens, you pick up 4 out of 6 points, including in division against Minnesota. Tough loss in Edmonton, but then you beat the Ottawa Senators, which is another team you should beat. You come on home, you play a good, strong game against a team you're directly in competition with for a wildcard spot in LA. You go on the All-Star break. Close out the road trip. Close this road trip strong. The last road trip in Arizona, unable to control it, unable to claim it, unable to come home with the points. Come back home with the points, face off against the LA Kings, go on the All-Star break. That is well within reach. Have yourself in a wild card spot and a week off coming up so that we can all sit back, look at the analysis, and talk about what's going to happen over the final 30 games of this season as we are officially about to be in the playoff race. The next game is game 50 of the season, and the Nashville Predators currently have a winning record on home ice, a winning record on the road, and they are currently holding a playoff spot after 49 games played with the 50th game coming up. First-year head coach, first-year GM, a lot of new moving parts and youth movement. The Nashville Predators are still finding a way to be successful despite recent offensive shortages and some frustrations. Over the final 30 games of the season, if the Nashville Predators can continue maintaining a winning record and continue success on both the home and road rinks, the Predators will find themselves in a best-of-7 playoff series in the first round. There is no doubt about that. And what happens from there? nobody knows. That's going to do it for operation number 863. We got to go ahead and get out of the bunker. Another Monday night game in Ottawa against the Senators. That'll close out the 3-game road trip. We'll be right back here talking about it. So please make sure you jump in the trenches and join us right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.